Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Every Day's a Train Wreck. I am your host, Marley Major, and as usual, I have a great guest for you, none other than Jordan Kosisky. And Jordan is, say hi, yay! Jordan is by the way, she just told me too. She's the podcast administrator, the podcast production manager. I don't even know, the podcast, something very important at Mission Matters. And so Mission Matters is who produces this podcast. And I have been kind of stalking Jordan because Mission Matters brought her on. And so she was in the background for a while. They probably kept her away from me because thinking like, let's make sure this girl doesn't quit. But I always kept hearing about the secret sauce of Jordan. So even from other vendors who like work with Mission Matters, like, oh, have you talked to Jordan? I'm like, well, kind of, but not really. So I think Jordan is a magician. She's going to give you her backstory, and we're going to discuss how lucky Mission Matters is to have her. And then most importantly, she's going to give us some tips and tricks and her take on social media and why podcasts, et cetera, et cetera. And you've got two of us here with, she says ADD. I have ADHD. She has ADHD too, but you guys have a lot of letters here between the two of us. So I think it's going to be a couple of sparkly ping pong balls shining all over the place. So Jordan, thank you. And most importantly, thank you for doing this because I know I twisted your arm and you were like,
yes.
Now,
I know.
Full disclosure, I think I did tell you that I was like, you can be one of my Cover of Darkness guests because I think that I've said this on the podcast, but I'm absolutely desperate for somebody to like have to tape in shadow with a voice alterer. You know, that's my goal. And so I said, well, if you really don't want to do it, then we can just like, you be that person in shadow. And I guess
it's one of those Pokemon cards that are like the shadow.
or how about the ones that are like, you know, when Anonymous does stuff and it just goes, Anonymous, and it's that black, scary mustache guy, and you're just like, oh, you stand up and take notice. I think my ratings would go through the roof if I had that. But no, Jordan's pretty face she's here. She's being a guest. She's on the other side of the mic. So other side of the screen. So thank you. And so now give us the real story. Who you are, where you live, what you like, favorite ice cream, the use.
Thank you. That was such a warm welcome.
Yeah.
You said this is my first podcast. I'm usually the one behind the scenes. So this is very scary to me. I have slight stage fright, but we'll get right past that.
You would never know it. You guys have to watch on YouTube because you would never know it. Okay.
Well, I'm from Arizona, born and raised here in the Valley. And I grew up in East Mesa, but just like in the Phoenix area. So very warm right here right now.
Yes.
But I got into podcasting because I met Matt, he was on your show a couple episodes ago. Yes, Matt Cook. He's the director of agency at Mission Matters. And I just, every time I talk to him, I'm like, I want to hear more about your job. Like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I'm pretty a creative person, but I'm typically been doing just account management jobs within different fields. And I really wanted something that really sparked my interest, got more creative. I had like that creative side of me really pop out. So every time I talked to him, it was just me talking his ear off. And then finally, when something opened, I was the first one he thought of.
Oh, I'm sure. You were. I'm sure you were. And okay, no, but wait, how did you meet him at like a networking event? Did you meet him at a bar? Where'd you meet him?
No, I actually met him through my fiance's coworkers at just like just a random party that they were throwing. And yeah, once I found out what he did, I kind of just didn't shut up because I'm just such an avid podcast listener. Yep. That's all I do. I listen to that more than I listen to music.
That's great. I think that's a first. I don't know that I've ever heard anybody say that. That's pretty amazing. That really shows you the sign of the times. And Matt, just give a shout out for him. He has a great podcast, also on Mission Matters, right? What's the name of his? Yes. It's the golf.
Pull Hook Golf. Yeah, his is really good. Very sports oriented, mainly golf. But yeah, he's doing great. He has live ones too, so that's really interesting.
Ooh, he does. And does he is he one of them that drinks while he's live? No,
yes, they have sometimes, but they'll go to like live bars. Like I've been to the one when he did it at like Trevor's Liquor. Yeah, that's really cool. So there'll be like people in the background. People will ask them questions, and they'll take live questions and stuff like that. Super cool.
Can you tell me when the next one's going to be? And I'm going to fly out and see you both. That'll be his big. Oh yeah, that's what we should do. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, yes, that'd be amazing,
right? And I'll be like, excuse me, sir, but could you tell me? Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you could be in full disguise,
right?
Full costume.
I hear. Can you tell me about I don't know. I hear you kind of have this nightmare client, and I hear she's just kind of I don't know, always on you about the numbers and how. I don't know. Let's say, can you guess who it is? Yeah, that would be. I think that would be real. Let's flip the script on him, right?
Absolutely writing that to the list. We're absolutely going to make that happen.
Absolutely, and then we'll get Adam and Shirag in on it, and they will be like, "Oh my god," all day long. Yeah, and then I think I can just start peeling off layers of my costume. But I think maybe I could be at first a very very old woman. With very big, long, saggy boobs, and
we should just start coming in. Yeah, different costumes every 10 minutes.
Oh, right.
And let's just throw him off his game,
right? And then actually, that's a really great idea. We can see if he even notices it's the same crazy girl who's just changed the outfits. Wow. Okay, there you go. Now we've got something. Okay, so I knew it was going to be exciting. I don't think I thought this podcast was going to be that exciting. So you found Matt. Matt has an amazing voice. So he is I always say, I speak Spanish, but I get this telenovela voice in Spanish that's these very, these car commercials and stuff when they speak Spanish, la 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 la. It's right, my whole personality change is like a Count Dracula thing. Well, Matt is the American version of the telenovela speaker, in my opinion, right? He just has that, I don't know, it just draws you in. I don't think it's the microphone either.
Yeah, and it's so even keeled. He's very calming presence, and it's very easy to talk to him.
Just like this podcast, very, very even keeled, right?
Yeah.
And I think even a couple times he was like when we were taping ours, and he was it was just oh boy. And it's come on, Matt. Yeah, I tried to get him to dish a lot of dirt, but we had a good time. So Jordan, tell us about your background, in some more detail. How did you said you're creative. How does that express itself? Tell us kind of the different jobs you've had leading up to this one.
Yeah, so I've honestly kind of been all over the map. Right out of high school, I became a makeup artist. And I did
That's why you have such good. I knew it because I was she's got a freaking great look. Okay, got it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, and of course, around that time, I graduated in 2014 in high school, and around that time, YouTube was such a huge thing with makeup and Jaclyn Hills of the world, the Jeffree Stars, and all of that. Mm-hmm. So I really just got into that, kept watching the videos, and I started doing that. And that was kind of how I let my creative side out the most. I was never a good,
You were watching their videos and then you were learning makeup stuff, or you started?
Yeah. So I'm completely self-taught. I never went to school or anything like that. Wow. And then I got a random job at this really boutique makeup place called Merle Norman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I worked with them, and then rep from Lancome came in one time, met me, loved my look and just all that. So then I started working for Lancome, and I did that for about 3 to 4 years.
Wow.
Until I was out of college. I got my associates in the arts, and from there I started doing more account management. I was being a makeup artist kind of all over the place, so I kind of wanted something more structured.
Right.
So then from there I did account management and collections. I did it, which was a very big curveball. I'm not very much a personality for collections.
And see, that's so funny that you say you're not big for because I think there are a few jobs that I would really excel at. One is I think I should just be the next Gloria Allred, even though I haven't gone to law school, but just naturally. But number 2, I would love to run some kind of mafia situation. But number 3, I really should just do collections, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm very capable of just calling somebody 10 times a day and text and being
laying it on them.
Right. And talk about the disguises. I'm watching Sneaky Pete right now. I don't know if any of you guys have seen that on Amazon Prime, but you should. 3 series of it. And this guy is just like the most unassuming looking guy, but my goodness, he's very persistent and always just blends right in and gets what he wants. So thinking if Sneaky Pete could do it, I'd be good. But the collections jam wasn't for you, huh?
No, I wasn't bad at it, but I just like it made me sad sometimes, you know?
That is true. It's sad. I would have to be on OxyContin or some kind of very big mood elevator to not feel sad for people. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, hearing everyone's stories and all that, it just it kind of puts a damper on your overall mood.
Especially when you're like the sunniest. You guys have to say this on YouTube because especially when you're like the sunniest looking person on the planet, you're like tan and like bright smile, and I can't even imagine your bobbing curls being like, "Yes, I'm sorry," and you still owe us. Like, you just lost your house.
Yeah,
but yeah,
please.
And I know your husband just left too, and I'm sorry about the cancer. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, it was $5,000. And on top of that, it was during the pandemic. I worked there in 2020 when the pandemic started.
Okay. That should be front end. How did you get the job?
I got it through a mutual friend that I actually met while doing makeup. So she had switched from makeup to there. And then she said, but she got into a different, she was doing, I think, what was she doing? Customer service or something like that. Something easier. And it was all like the chat one. And I got collections.
Because by the way, she was supposed to be in collections and you were supposed to do the chat, and she just flipped the collections to you because she didn't want to do it.
I was framed.
Right. Yeah. Duh. Okay. So how long did you do it?
Over a year.
Like when you start a job like that, how much training is it? Or do they just say like jump in and start calling people every day? Oh, like what do they tell you to do in collections? Like what's the backstory of collections?
It was like a full month of training where it was a full month, and we'd go into this little classroom and they would teach us just all the backstory about what you kind of have to say. There's a lot of different specific verbiage you have to use when you talk to people, and just a lot of boring stuff. But
like, what do you mean the verbiage? Like so that you don't get sued or something?
Yeah, like you have to make sure you're talking to that specific person. You have to get a certain amount of information from them before you can talk. But yeah, and then you have to talk them out of excuses as well.
Right.
So, and that's what the hard part was when they would talk about, I just lost my job. Well, I would have to be like, well, can you get like an Uber job? Or you know what I mean? And it's kind of like a slap in the face. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. Wow. Wow. Can you be a massage therapist? Yeah. You sell your eggs. Okay. Yeah. Keep going.
Anything else. Yeah. So just like little stuff like that. I feel like I wasn't terribly bad at it because I am very empathetic. So I'm not trying to be mean to these people at all and make them feel terrible about themselves.
Right.
I was able to get a good amount of payments from people, but I just, at the end of the day, the reason why I did leave it was because it just felt like a dark cloud above my head almost.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, not almost. It was a very dark cloud. Now, there's the thing that's interesting to me is in this day of everybody getting scammed and all this stuff, and they say, don't give out personal information, et cetera. But you're saying you had to validate who they are.
Yeah.
Like with a certain extent. That's crazy.
Yeah. And that was the hardest part because I would call out to people and I would have to ask them to verify who they are, you know? So it's like why
dude, you're calling me?
Yeah, exactly. So that was really a hard part. Like, why would I give you the last word of my social? You just called me. You know?
Wow. So what do they? I'm sure in collection school they like give you like managing objections. What do they say when people say, "Well, no, you called me"? Like, what are you then supposed to say to get it out of them?
Either that they'll continue to go, or we'll just go back and forth for a second, and then I could say you can like look up the phone number online, or a lot of people will just. Yeah, or a lot of people would just hang up and just call back, and then call back into us. Yeah, so they know that it was us that was calling them.
Got it. Okay. All right. So keep going. So after collections, then what?
Then I went into mortgages, and I was a junior closer for a mortgage company.
You are a closer. Back to the closing again. Okay. Got it.
And then after that, I was in account management for like logistics, which is long haul trucking. Which
Jesus,
I know.
On. Dude, what?
I know. I'm telling you, I'm all over the map.
How did you meet stuff? Okay, where'd you meet I'm hoping you didn't meet your boss at a truck stop. Where'd you meet the long haul trucking guy? Or don't tell me that's your husband or something now.
No.
Okay, got it.
I had a friend that was a recruiter that said that they were looking for a job. There's it was a sign-on bonus or something like that. And I was like, okay, fine. I'll try this now. That was probably my least favorite. It was a lot of outbound calling. Like they would have us do about 100 outbound calls.
What? Okay, now
and like a day.
Were you calling to say, do you need a load carried?
Yes.
What was the outbound call? No, you're joking. You were cold calling.
Yes, cold
for
calling
long haul trucking.
Yes.
Okay, A, I didn't know that existed. B, you say, hi, this is me, Bubbly Jordan. Do you need a haul? How big is your load? What the heck? How do you?
I know.
Give me your script.
I totally forget what my script was, but it was
what were you supposed to get out of them? You had to pre-qualify them.
Yeah, it was a lot of like us trying to get through like their receptionist because they would have like a lot of people that would kind of not want to talk to you. Mm-hmm. It's very saturated business, actually. There's a lot of
long haul trucking is.
Yes. The logistics. Yes. It's like they have all third parties and it's very interesting. But
talk about mind blown. And the thing that, A, I didn't even know it existed. And now you're telling me it's saturated. And then that was B. And then C, we have, we're doing this whole wool project and I had to get wool from Washington State down here to Pasadena. And my Lord, you would have thought I was trying to like move the golden Buddha. I mean, I was like, dude, it's just some wool. It's not even, and I mean, how long and how now, like, that's crazy that it, okay.
Crazy. And there's a lot of different, like, just like different like trucks you can like go through as well. So it's just, you're basically just trying to beat out competitors and with like better prices and all of that.
With that kind of stuff, are you cold calling for like, is there like a portal that you're like cold calling for multiple truckers or like, is it the trucking company or how does that work?
Yeah. So I worked for a third party and we would work with like bigger companies and like for like LTLs or something like that, for example, we'd have like different like truck companies that we could reach out to, get a price from them, and then add like a price of our own on top of it.
Got it.
And then give it to like the actual company we were cold calling to see if we could move their product from point A to point B and like not use anyone else but use us instead.
Got it. And so, all right. So it's a little bit like the Uber model where they're matching a driver. I mean, you're basically like matching a driver kind of with the customer. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love
matchmaker.
You're the matchmaker again. And I love, matchmaking, people's bad debt with, the credit card they no longer have. Well, okay. So I'm very fascinated that the long haul trucking you liked less than the collections.
Yeah. I just didn't like the cold calling of it all.
Yeah.
It was just a lot.
So it was a warm call when you're calling people, telling them their life was over. That was still a warm body.
Yeah, I told myself that I was trying to help them at least.
Oh, okay. What about the long haul? You genuinely helping the long? I mean, where were you when you needed the wool? I mean, the people like me who need a long haul, you need it like yesterday. Okay, that's crazy to me. I mean, helping, Lord, you're definitely helping. Okay.
I've lived a lot of lives, I guess.
Evidently. Okay, then what? Or I'm scared to ask.
And then my job after that was the job right before I went to Mission Matters now. I was an office manager, and under that I also wore a lot of different hats. Like I worked with a lawyer. So I started all of a sudden doing like executive assistant work for the CEO as well, which actually I really liked. It was
I'm sure you'd be good at that. Like because I'm really like tough critic on people, and I could say that from you're like on it with the details and everything. Totally, I can see
that. Yeah, so that was like what was the most fun I think about the job was just kind of coordinating the schedules. I would do travel and stuff like that. But as like the ops manager, I would also like create like events for like the employees.
Cool.
And I worked right under the HR umbrella, so I kind of got a lot into that as well. So that was really interesting and kind of helped, especially working with Mission Matters, kind of just like growing the company as well. So it's kind of nice to have like guides in place and stuff like that. So
Okay. So then for Mission Matters, so I know you from the perspective of like being, to me, I'm going to call it like our inside sales rep or whoever like we go to, right? Like our liaison, and you just make everything happen. And it's awesome because you're responsive, you're thorough, you don't drop the ball, which is thank goodness. And then everybody, all of the listeners are thanking goodness, lest we should miss another Tiger King episode or something.
Yeah, we can't miss an episode of Marley Major.
No,
are you kidding me?
Why don't you tell Matt that? Yeah, tell Matt that.
Ever.
Thank you. Yeah, good. Okay, I appreciate that. I love you.
Not on my watch.
Okay, I love it. I'll Venmo you the $10 in a minute after the show. Okay. Okay, so then for Mission Matters, so do you also then reach out to people to have podcasts, or do you or no? Or it's like, what's your reach out, or is it just kind of maintaining the clients you have?
Yeah, I'm a maintainer, basically. I don't reach out for sales or anything. I'm basically like the middleman between you, the host, and the editor for anything that you may need, maybe even like the middleman between you or like Matt or Shirag and stuff like that. So if like they're not responsive because, they have 20 billion things going on. So I'm here for you just to kind of to be that buffer. And as well, I'm doing like all the reviews for the podcast. So if anything like slips up in editing that maybe I don't like the quality of the sound or there was like a hard stop somewhere.
Yeah. So it's a little bit then like an ad agency where like Nabisco would be talking to you, and then you're talking to the super creative ones. You're super creative, but I should say the ones who are like doing the sketches on the computer, smoking pot in the back room to like come up with these crazy ideas. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes complete sense. Now, how many of the podcasters that you have, because shocker, I'm very focused on the numbers. How many podcasters are really like focused on the numbers, would you say?
I mean, I feel like all of them are very interested. I feel like in the beginning with the new podcasters that join on, they're really like, they want to know about the numbers like right away when we don't have really the numbers yet because they have one episode out yet.
Yeah. But like the numbers, it's one. Yeah, and by the way, it's one. Oh, I'm sorry. You and your mom too. Okay.
Yeah. No, but I think everyone, obviously you want to know your numbers and it's important and it's interesting. I think you definitely are the most interested, I would say, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's what you should do. You're trying to grow your brand and it's important and it shows that it's really important to you.
Now, what do you think is key? Because to me, our numbers I think are pretty good, but we and I think they're going in the right direction. Well, I know they're going in the right direction, but
absolutely.
What do you think? I guess what I'm always surprised with in business, whether it's podcasting, whether it's sending out e-zines, like email newsletters, marketing pieces, whatever it is, even events, I'm always a little bit surprised at what I think or like what X person thinks is going to do well in terms of an ad campaign or something on the buffet. And it's often some real wild card, right? That does really well. Like I remember when I got the feedback from the team early on, they were like, yeah, pretty much anything like crystals, astrology. And I was like, I love that stuff. So, okay. But I was really surprised where they're like, yeah, that really converts. Or we had Serena Baji, who is, her dad is a famous dermatologist and doctor and all this kind of stuff. But that episode has done so well. And sometimes, as I say, it was a great interview. It was one of the early ones. But I guess it surprises me sometimes that it doesn't have to be like we just released Tiger King last week. So that it doesn't have to be just a Tiger King. Podcasts can do really well without like the celebrity name or something. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I agree with you. It is kind of random what like some things stick and what doesn't. And I feel like podcasts are so niche as it is because everyone has their own pocket of the internet, So, and especially with your podcast, I love it because there's really something for everyone. So it's kind of nice to go in and kind of take your pick about what you want to listen to or what's on your mind at that moment. And like you said, with like the astrology or like the crystals or something like that, like I feel like that is, it's so huge right now, I think. Yeah. And even because I live like a couple hours away from Sedona, so I feel like a lot of people, a lot of people are like obsessed with it here as well.
Yeah.
So it just everything. It's all over the internet. I think people are like leaning more towards astrology. The girls are telling their boyfriends about it. I'll be out with my guy friends. I'm doing their whole birth chart, and they're loving it. They want to know more about themselves.
I love it. Yeah, I think that's true. I think the modern male has accepted that. Like there was this thing ages ago on YouTube, the crazy hot matrix, which I'm sorry, I still think is the funniest thing ever, where this guy, this like kind of fuddy-duddy-ish guy would rate girls. And it was always like, the hairdressers, people named Cinnamon, the redheads, like it was always like they get hotter and hotter, as they go. And I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hate mail about that. But this is, but there are just certain things that kind of follow just random lines. And I feel like men have to accept that if you want the girl in the crazy hot matrix, you're going to have to accept your birth chart, and you're going to have to feign interest in crystals. So maybe this could turn into a dating show. I mean, you were talking about matchmaking earlier. So maybe that's the thing is like, here's the biggest dating tip, straight men, listen to this. You'll be very willing to women if you actually like, oh my gosh, no, I don't know my rising, but I've always wanted to.
Yeah. Can you look it up for me, please?
Right. Yeah. That's almost better than 7 figures in the bank is, tell me my rising, Okay. I love this.
Absolutely.
Maybe we could have an astrologer and a single hot guy who just hasn't met the right one.
Yeah. We watch sports with our significant others all the time. The least they can do is let me look up their birth chart. Please.
I'm very missed on that. Exactly. How many years? And I was a cheerleader in high school. And let me tell you, there was not one game I wanted to watch. Yes, I did want to sit down and reapply my lip gloss. But yeah, you're right. And I've spent many a Super Bowl Sunday on the couch when I was like, okay, like I could be watching, I don't know, some fashion, something that would, so okay, good. So there you go. So girls, we watched a lot of sports. For those of us who weren't totally into it, it's crystal time with our men. Okay. I love that. And now let's talk about, because you guys have, as we talked about, Matt's podcast he does live stuff. It's all sports. It's really different than this kind of thing. He has a very professional voice and a professional microphone and all that kind of stuff. But so why do certain podcasts do well and others don't? Because the other thing is, like I have my business degree and in marketing, right? And everything that we're kind of saying about how it's sort of all over the place because it's basically what interests me is almost flying in the face of what we know to be supposedly good business advice, which is like really stick to a niche unless it can be considered a niche to just be a bouncing ball, like a piece of tinfoil in the sun. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, because I don't really think that you need to have one specific topic when doing a podcast, because even like the Joe Rogan and the Caller Daddies of the world, they're taking people from all over the place.
Yeah, you're right.
And like interviewing them. So I just think that it goes back to the host. If you are like connecting to your audience and you're like talking to them, just giving back or what have you, and they have a connection to you, then they're going to keep coming back no matter who's on your podcast. And and then I also think like it's how much you care about your podcast to like make sure that you're getting episodes out on time, having all like your interviews in a row, and just being kind of organized with it. Having a specific brand image, I think that's important. Yeah. So it's a lot of little things, but I kind of like more of the niche podcasts.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of fun.
Yeah. And it is still the Wild West. Would you agree?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And there's just so many.
There's so many. And you guys, because at first when I started doing it, I was like, Oh my God, big deal. I have a podcast. Like I was like, a podcast is like having a navel, like every person does. And then it was like, well, a lot of people have podcasts, or a lot of people have had podcasts, but they don't necessarily maintain it every week.
Yeah.
So I think that's the first part that's hard to get used to, is that like you got to churn out content every week.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And it's interesting. I actually learned this from when I started at Mission Matters, that some people don't have podcasts to get viewers necessarily. Some people have podcasts to get jobs. So they'll talk about, just like like they'll talk about who they are, or they'll interview certain people in certain fields and kind of get their name out, and they'll post them on LinkedIn and all of that. So it's kind of like shows you their voice and who they are.
Got it.
So
it's kind of like a live reel almost that makes sense, because so like from my publicist has a sizzle reel for us, right? So for the Party Goddess has its own like all the different media clips that are fused together that she can send out and be like, okay, this is who it is, and get so that they can kind of get a taste, right? So this is makes sense, because then you get to see the person in action over and over. And that would be kind of a cool way to do it, actually.
It's very new age way to do it. But I mean, if new employers are like looking for a new employee, especially more of like maybe like a bigger like VP or something like that, and they can see that they have all these connections with who they're interviewing, or how they interview people, or just kind of like their mindset on things. So
now, what do you think
that's a way to do it.
What do you think about like nature versus nurture? Like, can you take somebody who's uneventful and turn them into a good podcaster if they want to be, or do you kind of have to have something?
Yeah, I wouldn't say never say never. I feel like you do have to have a certain type of personality to want to continue doing this. Because I feel like if you have stage fright and it's crippling, and you do one podcast, you hate the way you look, and then you stop, then there's no way of us to like push you to do it, and it's not really fair to yourself, or you're not being true to yourself. And that will also, I feel like, shine through in the video, or even in the podcast. So
now the other thing is I'm so jealous. I have a green background, and I'm very green with envy of some of these podcast sets.
Oh my gosh, I know.
I mean, the business I should be in is freaking creating podcast sets. Lord.
Yes.
It's amazing.
I know. I listen to a few, like I'm really big into pop culture podcasts. Love. Obsessed. Like Just Trish, hers is like fluffy, fuzzy backgrounds, and like just like massive, big pink chairs. And there's just so many that are just absolutely amazing.
Right? Like beyond. And because usually, you listen to the podcast and you're on Spotify or you're on something. And so to see the visual, like, are there certain podcasts that you actually like will try to watch/listen to, as opposed to just listen to on a podcast platform where you can't see it?
I'm more of an audio listener.
Yeah, me too.
So I do love a YouTube video. That's what I feel like that's what originally got me into like liking podcasts, that and talk show radio, I feel like.
Oh yeah.
But I just love an audio podcast, honestly. It makes you feel not alone.
You know what? That's it. That's a great way. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I wanted you to say, no, I'm very into video podcasts, and it's super important. So I can say, oh, yay, let's like go design my backdrop.
Well, no, I think that they're both important. And again, because like the pop culture ones I listen to, like the Just Trish I mentioned, she has like hundreds of thousands of views on on YouTube. So I think it's like the eye-catching part of it is what people like gravitate towards to go watch. Yeah, you can put YouTube videos out on the background and in your house as well. So that could also be the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So how often does somebody like a Just Trish or Joe Rogan, maybe not so much, but how often do they like kind of change or modify their sets or their backdrops?
Oh man. I feel
like not a lot. They stick to it. Yeah, probably. Because those things are, I saw one of them, like the Caller Daddy one or something, was like $100,000. Yeah. It's like, what in the world?
And a lot of like the pop culture ones, because I guess that's what I listen to mainly, but all of them have sets. all of them have like nice sets, and they have the chairs and the sofas, and then like their name and lights in the background. You need that, I think.
I know. And
I want you to have like a big sign.
Okay, I have it, and it's right behind me, and I didn't like where they hung it. It was too high. And I was like, no. So we're going to do it lower. And then, okay. So thank you. That's really good. But I feel like I want to kind of set decorate and have my thing in lights. And maybe I'll be the girl who like, I don't know, maybe I'll have a quarterly podcast set reboot contest or something, and creative people can send in.
Yeah, that would be cool. Right? That'd be fun. Yeah.
Right? What do you want to see in the background? What do you want to, I love that. And so getting into a little bit of the nitty gritty, because some of these things are literally like, these are like TV production shows. I mean, they have to have, I'm sitting here with my laptop and my blah, blah, all my gear, but they have to have multiple camera people, right?
Yeah, I feel like, they always have like a producer and multiple like camera angles, but a lot of them will have multiple hosts. So that's kind of like what you need for a bunch of camera angles, or if they're having a lot of guests in studio, that's also why the set is so important for like guests coming into studio.
Got it.
Because you kind of want it to be like all cohesive and it kind of makes sense.
And then do you think that the bigger ones all have you come in studio?
I would say so, like especially like the bigger ones. Like I don't think I've ever seen really a Call Her Daddy one where it was like over like Zoom or anything, or Riverside, whatever.
And is that so they can control the production value?
I'm not sure.
The visuals. I mean, it's kind of.
I feel like it's probably more towards the visuals because they want to have like a clean, cohesive look to them. Mm-hmm. So that's probably why it is the way it is. And a lot of them like do live in the LA area, and that a lot of the guests will be traveling in and out of LA and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then is Joe Rogan, he's not in LA, is he? Where is he?
I don't know. I have no idea, actually.
Yeah, I Google, where's Joe Rogan? Look, he's in New York, but maybe not. Now, when they have these multiple camera angles, do you think they have this like the stationary cameras, or do you think they have actually people like working them?
From what like I've known about it is that they have one producer on deck that will kind of be behind with like a laptop, making sure all the cameras are working well, and they'll have like tripod, the lights as well with like the umbrellas and all of that. They'll just 1 to 2 people at least, because sometimes that will just get too crowded if there's too many people.
Yeah. And then it's I got it. Okay, I love it. Yeah. Well, and I'm now very distracted as I was in the beginning by what's behind you on your. I mean. Tell us.
Trinket shelf.
Okay, so the trinket shelf, by the way, you guys have to see this, is magic. Okay, some trinkets are in boxes. I feel like I'm scared to know what those are, because those are probably some like really bougie, special things.
I just love a trinket. I love anything that's cute. I'm a big I'm a Hello Kitty girl. Like I love Hello Kitty.
Oh, I love Hello Kitty. Yeah.
I know. And I just like, there's just so many cute things. I love like a cute little squishmallow. Fun little guy. So I don't know. I just started getting like one thing and then another thing, and then people started getting me things, and then it's like a thing. And then now that I have the shelf, I'm like, when I go out and I see another trinket, I'm like, let's get another one.
Yeah.
So
maybe that could be I could build on that for my background, as I could have some kind of shelf. I think it'd be like a liquor cabinet. Like airline bottles or something. A little less family friendly than the. And what about things in the boxes though?
Yeah, I have like the Funko Pops. When the Funko Pops were like really big. They're still pretty big. I have a few of them. Like.
Yeah. Wow.
The little Funko Pops. I feel like that was like really huge for a second. And I feel like it still pretty much is. Now I feel like the Labubus are really popular. But I just love anything kind of like that. I like a collectible, or I'm a maximalist. My house is very much like all different colors. Like this whole room I turned into a closet, so all my clothes are like right here. Yeah, nice. And then like I have a shoe rack behind me.
Oh, of course you do. There you go.
So it's my get ready room. This is you're sitting on like my vanity.
Oh,
so
very nice. Well, your lighting and everything is really good. How did you do your lighting? with that circle light, or
it's my vanity mirror. It's what is it? What is the impression? Yeah, the impressions mirror.
Ah, got it. You'll have to text me that.
Yeah, I love it. It's really good.
Oh, so it's like your vanity mirror. You just have it behind your computer or something.
Yeah, because I'm not usually the one that's behind on a podcast.
I mean, your lighting is good. Your lighting is really good, I gotta say.
Yeah, it works double, so it's perfect.
How can people who are thinking about having a podcast or already have a podcast and want to amplify it, like what are some of the ways you can repurpose content? Because now there's so many cool apps and programs out there that make it a lot easier. Like I know when we got Opus Pro, that sort of picks the best clips and you can repurpose it. It was like, wow, I can't believe they, something can do that. What do you think are some of the best ways to repurpose material?
I feel like TikTok and Instagram for sure. And now that especially like you have a YouTube channel that you're posting your full length podcasts on, the YouTube shorts are huge. And especially making sure they're connected to the actual episode because it can take you directly to the actual full length episode, which I think that is really important. But I feel like TikTok and Instagram are so huge right now. And a lot of people, like the bigger podcasts, will have a specific Instagram just designated to just all of their reels and all of that stuff too. So it's like a all one stop.
Yeah. And so what are your thoughts about that? Because, Instagram, I mean, it's gone so many different ways, right? Where you've got to kind of have a website and a brand for everything. And then it was sort of, people who do multiple things are under one umbrella. But now I feel like, I don't know, it's kind of like it's getting segmented again.
Yeah. I don't know. I do kind of like the idea of having like a podcast all on one Instagram. I think it does look kind of clean and it's very like directed towards all things your podcast.
Yeah.
And you can write updates about it. And and especially having a link tree, I think that's really important. So people where to find you and all the places that they can find you.
Yeah. So like you're like a link tree on, for example, when you click on Instagram and then it got all the different.
Yeah. Like on the reels. So when they say link in bio, I think that's huge. I feel like that is such a good idea. Whoever decided to think of Linktree, genius.
Yeah. No, it totally is because you can just get off to all these different places and really, and kind of dig deeper. Well, what do you think is going to happen in the future with podcasts? Like, I mean, always with these things, I think the Wild West will only last for so long, before the government or some kind of FCC radio rulings or what do you think is going to happen?
I think that it's only going to get bigger because I feel like we're in the age of social media where people don't have attention spans. They're not sitting down long enough to watch a TV show. And I don't know, just because my whole entire life is podcasting, but I do not watch TV shows as much as I listen to podcasts because I can do it on the go. I can do it go with my friends and we're driving in the car on a road trip or listen to a podcast.
Right.
So I don't think they'll be going anywhere.
Yeah, I think you're right. And what do you think is missing in the podcast market? Like if you could create 3 podcasts from scratch just for yourself that like selfishly you would love to listen to, what do you or even one if you can't think of 3?
Yeah. My first thought is probably like more of a fashion. I feel like I don't hear of a lot of like different fashion podcasts or kind of people that talk about that as much or like the trends that are happening. You see a lot of trends on like TikTok or Instagram about fashion, but I feel like I never really listen to podcasts about even just like vintage fashion and all of that stuff too.
That can be good. Like even some education kind of stuff about like why does vintage Christian Dior or whatever still sell for so much on the Real?
Yeah, exactly. Or why do certain trends come back when others don't?
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff interests me. It's another niche little podcast talking of the internet.
That's a good. Well, I could sort of sprinkle that in. I mean, I would love to interview the Real, whoever's behind that.
Yeah.
Those kind of like, because now there's a lot of those like luxury. I don't want to say lots of luxury consignment, but like, there's more than one. And then they've got kind of different tiers like Poshmark and stuff like that. And that's interesting. You're right. There aren't a ton of fashion ones.
Not that like I can think up off the top of my head or even like that I've heard of people talking about. So I think that would be kind of cool.
I think you're right. Well, no, if you do have a fashion podcast and Jordan doesn't know about it, A, tell her, and B, you're not doing the best job marketing it because she's got to find it. Well, yeah, and then maybe because fashion is such a visual thing, but as we're talking about now, you can put the whole episode, on YouTube. Maybe I'm going to manifest like interviewing Christian Siriano because I think he'd be fabulous, right?
Yeah.
And then I always want to know, like, how do you look 10 pounds thinner? Maybe I should have a bathing suit designer or something. So it's like, hey, the biggest mistakes everybody makes and thinks is going to make them look fat, but that doesn't. Okay, what else? Anything else besides the fashion one?
I don't know. Again, like I listen to more of pop culture. That's like the most interesting to me. So that's the only one that I think of that I haven't seen a lot of because I've seen like a lot of people doing like interviews. There's I follow some astrology ones. So everything that interests me, I feel like I've been able to find a podcast at least.
Right.
So because again, there's so many of them out there.
There are so many of them out there. And do most people produce one a week, or how many do most people produce?
Well, the most typical is one a week. And I think that's the most, I think it's nice because you're not like rushing things as well, I feel like.
Yeah.
But some people, and I've noticed that more of like businessy ones will do like 2 to 3 times a week, but they're more short form. So they'll be like 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard somebody say too, who has a very, very, very successful podcast. And actually I meant to run it by you guys, was he said that he's developing a TV network and all this stuff around it. But he was saying he now wants his podcasters to do podcasts that are either 24 minutes or 48 minutes. Because I guess if it's a 24 minutes and you put it on a TV, like a TV show, that's like with the commercials and the starting and stopping, that's a 30-minute show.
Yeah.
And same thing if you do 60, then it's a 60-minute show. Now, I don't know if that's just for his target audience or I feel like I'm trying to keep to that.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's very specific and it's just kind of what your audience would want. So I feel like it's whatever you're comfortable with. And if it's making the most sense for you, just to do that. Because some people, I follow a podcast that it's 2.5 hours.
What are they talking about?
Pop culture. And that's a Just Trish one again. And then sometimes they'll do 2 in a week, 2.5 hours long.
And so she covers pop culture, like, what is she kind of heavy on? I got to listen to it right after this.
Yeah, no, I think you'll love it.
I mean, is it like a lot of reality TV stuff? Is it a lot of like gossip? Is it a lot just
everything? Yeah, gossip, anything that's going on with like even just like influencers to bigger name movie stars, just anything that you'll hear in the news kind of stuff that they'll be talking about it and then they'll dissect it until it's dead.
Yeah. And so now is hers live or no?
No, but have you heard of like podcasters like traveling and doing live shows? Yeah, she's done that before. So
that's very cool.
That was pretty interesting.
I feel like, and does she do that mostly or no? She just does it sometimes?
Just sometimes. Yeah.
When you travel and do that, what do? You just have your laptop and another camera to film the other guest or
I usually have a set. Like I'll have a full set that'll follow them around.
Yeah.
I know I went to the Canceled podcast one and they had like a full, what is the spinny thing and then they'll choose like something and then I talk to the audience and stuff like that. So that's like cool. And then, they'll talk to the audiences like while they're going and then like share advice and stuff like that.
I feel like they would get an audience just by like, even if you didn't, you got to have 2 people following your podcast, right? And I feel like any time you put some backdrop up like that and then you just start taping, people be like, ooh, what's that?
Yeah. No, exactly.
I love it. Yeah, I think the direction for a lot of these is going to go more like once they kind of get their niche is going to be like, hey, let's tape live with or at least maybe it's not live, but like with an audience. I think because I do think that's very cool. That adds a totally different dynamic.
Yeah, and a lot of them will say like things that they normally wouldn't put out into the world on a podcast. So that is like so there's more like a secretive notion to it.
Yeah.
So that's why people kind of want to go.
I think it'd be very cool too to do it like at a conference or like, I mean, I love like the fancy food festival, stuff like that. I think it'd be very cool to have a podcast at something like that where you can get, people who are presenting or cool brands or, you know what I'm saying? Something like that so that it's kind of, maybe I'm going to try that.
There's this one podcast, I don't know if you've heard of them. They're called Lady Gang. They're actually making their own festival called Lady World. And they have like bands coming, and then they're like sponsored by like Elf, and so they'll have like free little things from different. I know, it's absolutely insane.
Please pitch me for that.
Yeah.
Can you please? Can't you be like? Don't tell Matt or Shirag or any of the big boys. But can you just go pitch me for Lady World, please? And I'll like go along with. I think it'd be so fun.
I think they were looking for more creators. It's in Destin, Florida, I believe.
Oh, hilarious! One of my closest friends is there. Okay, when is it? Can you please get off this and like pitch me, and I'll Venmo you again?
I'll send him an email. Absolutely,
I would love that. No, I would literally love that. And I would
absolutely.
And just let them know I can pull my weight, especially I got a lot of good people in Florida too. So I can, oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, smart. Yeah. Cool. I want to be part of like all the Lady World stuff. And then can you moonlight as my makeup artist? And I can take you with me. That'd be really fun. Matt and Charlotte. No, sorry, but Jordan.
Sorry, Matt.
Again.
Going to Destin, Florida.
Yeah. See ya. And then he'll be like, fine, do some kind of live thing. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, Jordan, this has been amazing. Hopefully it has not been the nightmare stage fright situation you anticipated, right?
No, I feel much better. Yeah, you're very easy to talk to.
Okay, good. Well, thank you. That goes both ways. Some people would say the exact opposite, but I very much appreciate you saying that. And I had so much fun. So I hope now that like we've kind of broken the ice, we'll be able to get you to come back on because you do have a really great perspective and like finger on your pulse of sort of what's happening out there.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I try.
Yeah, you did. Well, you're doing a great job. All right. So Jordan, where can people find you or get a hold of you?
I'm not an influencer by any means or anything, but if anyone out there wants to be a podcaster or wants to work with me, you can find me at jordan@missionmatters.com.
I love it. Okay. And this was amazing. I had a ball. We'll text afterwards. And Lady World, here I come.
Woo! Sending you an email.
I know. I said, Lady World, watch out. Okay. That's awesome. All right. Well, Jordan, this was the best. And so you guys, that's another one is a wrap. So this is Marley Major from Every Day's a Train Wreck. And this was... my day started as a train wreck, but this ended up as like a very fabulous, wonderful episode. So if you guys are not following the show already, please make sure you follow the show. Please make sure you tell a friend. Rate 5 stars if you are so inclined. Leave a comment. 5 stars, 10 stars. And then you can find me on Instagram at The Party Goddess or at The Profit Goddess. So that was awesome. Jordan, you're the best. Thanks for doing it.
Thanks so much, Marley.
All right. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.